Hello and welcome. You're watching Peak TV. I'm Vedant Agarwal. The big question we are asking this evening, is it the end of the last woman standing against Modi and Amit Shah's BJP? It's been 2 weeks of fast paced developments for the Trinamool Congress with 60 MLAs of the TMC rebelling and now reportedly 20 MPs also seeking to merge with a bit of an obscure Bengal party and support the NDA. What is really the future of Mamata Banerjee's TMC, if you can call it that? I'm joined by Rajya Sabha MP and one of Mamata Banerjee's perhaps staunchest loyalists, Sagarika Ghosh. Thanks very much, Ms. Ghosh, for being with us. Let me begin by asking you something interesting. There is this video of yours that's now going viral. I'm not sure if you've seen that, but it's actually Mamata Banerjee walking out of one of your shows years ago. And you can see a visibly agitated Didi saying that this audience is planted and this is a left audience, and she is walked out of your show in a different avatar of yours as a journalist. And many people from the right wing are now sort of retweeting and reposting that video to say that it is this temperament of Mamata Banerjee and her intolerance, as it were, that has led to this kind of unraveling of the Trinamool Congress.
Thanks very much, Vedant, for having me on your conversation. Uh, that show was done in 2012. She had just become chief minister. She was self-admittedly she called herself a trainee chief minister. It had been years and years of struggle against the mighty left front, which had ruled Bengal for 30 years. One woman had been on the street against the left front, battling it day and night, taking blows to her head, taking blows to her entire body. She had broken bones. She had her head split open. Her comrades were killed. She battled on, and this was in 2011. She won this massive victory, and 30 years of the left front rule in Bengal came to an end. And she says at the time, when we talk about that show, she said, I was a trainee chief minister. She was new. She was not politically sure of herself. You've been battling on the streets decade after decade. Put yourself in her shoes. You do see enemies everywhere. You do see possible conspiracies everywhere. You do see possible sort of traps everywhere. You've come out of struggle. You've come out of situations where your life has been in danger, where your comrades have been in danger. You have lived in that danger situation for decades, and finally, when you come to power, you can't expect to suddenly be all goody two shoes and all very speaking in a very calm and collected way, and having a drawing room conversation. No, she was raw. She had come through struggle, and she admits it herself. And I think that the story I always tell is that her heart broke at that show. Actually, she always told me afterwards, I shouldn't have done that, I wish I hadn't. And after that, we became very good friends. I know that at that time I was a journalist, and she was a politician, and politician and journalist can't be friends, but we became, there was a warmth between us, because I think she felt that she felt regretful about that. And I think that I always draw the parallel that Mamata Banerjee walked out of my show in 2012, and 12 years later, she offered me a Rajya Sabha seat. Narendra Modi walked out of Karan Thapar's show after drinking many glasses of water. Did he offer Karan Thapar a Rajya Sabha seat? No. He has ostracized Karan Thapar. He has never given an interview to Karan Thapar. He has become very hostile to Karan Thapar. Mamata Banerjee forgave me, forgave the show. She moved on. Everyone is human. Everyone is allowed to evolve. Everyone is allowed to change over time. You can't expect a completely finished product in 2011 of what she has now today become in 2026, when she's a senior stateswoman and three-time chief minister. So I think at that time, coming out of that struggle, that was her reaction to someone she perceived was part of the left front who she had battled for decades.
Yeah. Coming back to Mamata Banerjee and the sense you get from a lot of people close to her and a lot of MPs like yourself is that she's a deeply emotional woman, hypersensitive at times, and that she has made wrong choices as well. A lot of people seem to suggest, even these rebel legislators and rebel, MPs and MLAs, they suggest that while everything seems to be okay with Mamata Banerjee largely, it is a sense of entitlement that her nephew Abhishek Banerjee had that seems to be, the heart of the problem. That she,
No, but,
this.
but just coming back to your question about intolerance, I mean, the fact is, there were news outlets in Bengal who were running a campaign against Mamata Banerjee all the years she was in power. Those new news outlets are now very pro BJP. I would like to see whether they keep up the same tirade of criticism against the BJP government as they did against Mamata Banerjee. There was that one instance of intolerance where she acted against a college professor who circulated a cartoon. After that, there have been no instances of intolerance. There was complete freedom of speech. In fact, there was too much freedom of speech in the. I mean, if there is such a thing, there can never be too much freedom of speech as a liberal, but there was total freedom of speech in Bengal in criticizing her. There were never, there were news outlets were criticizing her day and night. Now, the point about temperament and what she is like, why is it that everything is wrong with her? Why don't we point fingers at those who have betrayed the people's mandate, those who don't think anything of accepting um, offers from the BJP who they fought against in the election. They campaigned against the BJP in the election. You campaigned against Narendra Modi. You campaigned against Amit Shah. Now you think nothing of accepting an offer from the BJP and switching sides just because a party has lost. This, to me, illustrates an ethical and moral deficit. It's not
But
just about Mamata Banerjee.
usually,
I'm coming to your point about Mr. Abhishek Banerjee. Mr. Abhishek Banerjee has come into politics maybe through the route of his relationship with Mamata Banerjee, but he's proved himself time and time again by winning by huge margins from Diamond Harbour. And if we had won this election, then believe me, everybody would have been praising Abhishek Banerjee and saying, what a tremendous organizer he is, what a man of the organization he is, what a leader he is, simply because a party loses the election, and therefore everything is suddenly wrong with the party, everything is suddenly wrong with the leadership, everything is suddenly wrong with the way the party functions. All these leaders who are bringing up this issue of, we were angry, we had angst, we couldn't speak, we were being muzzled. Why were they not saying this before the election verdict? Why were they not voicing this earlier? Why is it that after the party has lost? And believe me, if the party had won, would they be singing this tune? I don't think so.
so you're saying that this is simply political opportunism, but would you concede that there was, to an extent,
Tiny
Mamata Banerjee
opportunistic.
allowed, there's also this allegation that Mamata Banerjee allowed these strong men to kind of pop up in every district, and that led to factionalism and rivalry and hooliganism, etc. Would you concede that that's something that?
But the TMC leadership has always acted against anyone found guilty of wrongdoing. Many of our leaders have been put in jail. Many of our leaders have been suspended. She has not stood in the way of their prosecution or police action against them. They have been acted upon by the law enforcement agencies. Many of them, even the Mr. Sudeep Bandyopadhyay, who is today switching to the BJP, he was in jail. So there he was for in a particular scam. So she has never stood in the way of prosecution of any leaders. If there has been wrongdoing, if there has been excesses, we as a party have to introspect. We have to look inward. Yes, we do, and we will, and we are. And if there is anything wrong, and if the public has turned against us, then we will look inward. We will see how we can win back the trust of the people. But you must remember, Vedant, this was not a free and fair election in Bengal. This was not an election where votes were fairly cast. This was an election that was manipulated. The result has been manipulated. Today, as you know, Mamata Banerjee has gone to the High Court seeking to challenge her result in the Bhawanipur Assembly constituency. You have seen constituencies where the margin of deletions is much higher than the margin of victory or loss. So if there have been 70,000 deletions and the margin of victory or loss is just 800, then if just 800 of those 17,000 had voted for the
Yeah.
the AIGC candidate, the candidate would have been through. So the fact is, 91 lakh deletions, 27 lakh put under this absurd category, logical discrepancy, which was not there in any other state. This election commission was completely partisan. As you know, two officers of the election commission who are doing election duties, they have now been absorbed in the BJP government. They One is a chief advisor and one is a chief secretary. So uh, this election in Bengal, or the Bengal Assembly election of 2026, to me does not satisfy the minimum threshold of a free and fair election. And the
It wasn't
result
a level playing field,
so
like you
so
said.
it was not a level playing field. Absolutely not a level playing field. I mean, you had a massive weaponization of the central agencies, of the enforcement directorate, of the CBI, of the income tax. You had the seizure of our documents. You had massive force. You had our election agents beaten up. You had our election agents thrown out of the scene, and you had the role of a very one-sided media, which
Hmm.
from 10 o'clock in the morning was declaring a BJP victory. I'll tell you something interesting. I went on a channel on result day on the 4th of May to a channel where by 10:30 the anchor was reading out, oh, you've lost here, you've lost here, you've lost in Calcutta, you've lost this seat, you've lost that seat, but your citadels have fallen. And I was thinking, wow, how come this anchor is telling me all the results at 10:30 in the morning? I mean, all
Yeah.
the machines haven't been opened. All it's still postal ballots. I mean, how come this anchor is reading out an election analysis at 10:30 or 11 a.m. in the morning when
Hmm.
all the results weren't even out? But what happened is the mainstream media starts flashing, BJP crosses majority mark, BJP forming the government, BJP forming the government. And as the media did that, what the police did, because the screens are everywhere, what the police and the central forces were doing was, oh, it's over, it's over, it's over, done, done, get up, and beating up our election agents and throwing them out of the counting centers and declaring all the marginal seats for the BJP, saying, "Dekho, media dikha rahi hai, BJP jeet gayi hai." So
Yeah.
what happens is the media ecosystem exerts a very pernicious influence on the counting process. So the counting process
That
gets
point,
affected.
it's a fair point that
It was
we
not a
do
free
not.
and fair election, is what I'm saying. It was not a free and fair election. So, in this non free and fair election, the people
Hmm.
who are now choosing to leave the TMC in these difficult times, I would say, are showing a lack of moral courage, a lack of character, and a lack of spine. Because this is the time when we have to stand up against wrongdoing, and we have to stand up against the assault on democracy that the
Yeah.
BJP,
I understand the point, but
MOD, BJP is
this
doing.
this culture of defections and sort of these political imports. What's interesting is that it's the same for every party, because if you look at Ritubrata Banerjee, who is now rebelling against Mamata Banerjee in West Bengal, he had a sexual assault complaint against him in 2017. Why did the TMC decide to take him then? Because I mean, he had questionable credentials back then as well. He's an import from the left, and there are all these cases against him, complaints against him at least. So coming back to this whole culture of defections and taking political imports, would you concede that it was wrong on the part of the TMC also to accept a person like Ritubrata Banerjee?
Well, the thing, I wouldn't like to comment on particular individuals. I think they are assessed on what kind of political talent they bring to the table. Yes, there was that case against him. I think this was the case. I think is a bit is shrouded in some sort of there's a controversy about that particular case. In any case, the leadership decided to take him on. My point is simple, that the fact is that these candidates were taken by the TMC. They were given a chance. Rita Brother was given a term in the Rajya Sabha. He was my Rajya Sabha colleague, and he was given huge opportunities to speak. He was given a platform in the Rajya Sabha. He was then given a ticket to contest the Vidhan Sabha elections in Bengal. So it's not as if the party did not give these people opportunities. They're all three-time four. The Lok Sabha MPs are three-time, four-time MPs.
Yeah.
Three-time, four-time they've got tickets. So to say that the party was always against us and the party didn't give us opportunities and we are we are feeling muzzled in the party, I just think this is, as I said, it's terribly cowardly to do this when the party has lost. You see, I have no issue, Vedant, if somebody leaves a party contests on another symbol, fights your way up, and comes back on another symbol. That's
Like
fine.
the
Mamata
Shubhendu,
Banerjee
for
did that.
example.
Yeah, Mamata Banerjee did that herself. She left the Congress. She's remember she's a congresswoman. She left the Congress in '98. She formed her own party. She fought under her own banner, and she came into Parliament and then the Vidhan Sabha on her own banner. There's no problem with that. But you can't. But if you have fought under a particular symbol, you have fought with a particular leader's face on your poster, you have fought with a particular, the support of a particular party's karyakartas, how can you then say that, oh, now that the party's lost, I'm not with the party, I'm with the victor? So then are
Yeah.
you someone who's only chasing victorious parties or winning parties? In that case, what does a mandate mean? What is a why should people vote for you? What is the if you are going to change your party and go to another party, depending on the result.
Yeah.
So,
In fact,
so
you've moved the speaker also, Ms. Ghosh, and you have said that this is unconstitutional for the 20
it's
MPs to
unconstitutional. It is
merge with the.
unconstitutional.
And again, this is a bit of a, I mean, the law there is slightly murky. We don't know because, I
So
mean,
very
nothing has
clear.
been done about the 7 MPs who have just joined the BJP. They've also technically merged with the BJP, and
Nothing has been done. In fact, this is a big gap in the enforcement of the law, because the 10th schedule and the Supreme Court judgment of the Shiv Sena in 2023, the Subhash Desai judgment, is
yeah.
very clear that the two-thirds, you see, parties can merge, MPs can't merge. MPs can't break or merge or split. Parties do it. So
And
it is
once they merge, they've split already, and that is
no,
unconstitutional.
so the MPs in parliament are simply representatives of the political party, right?
Hmm.
It's the political party whom they represent. The political party has given them tickets, they represent, they have won on those tickets, and they have come to parliament. So they are MPs, they're not a party. The 10th schedule is very clear. When a political party splits or when it merges, then chronology samjhe. It's a chronological thing that on condition that the original party has split, on condition that the original party has merged with some other party, then if two-thirds of the legislature party of that political party decide to merge or decide to split, then they do not attract the anti-defection law. So
And
it's a
then they
secret.
won't be disqualified. Hmm.
Then they
Yeah.
won't be disqualified because their original party has split. Their
Yeah.
original party has merged. So it is the political party that merges. It is
Hmm.
not the MPs who can, I can't go into parliament and they decide, oh, I'm now, I can now go with this party, I can go with that party. MPs are not constitutionally given the power under the 10th schedule. If you read the 10th schedule, it's very clear. There are two steps that happen. You see, it's not just the two-thirds majority. There are two steps. The first step is the political party merges or splits. Once the political party merges or splits, on that condition, the two-thirds rule applies, that then if the MPs decide to merge, they don't attract the anti-defection law. So
So
that is a
just
very clear.
two-third in terms of number of MPs is not enough,
No,
and
no,
that.
no, no. It has to happen in chronology to the original party splitting. It is a chronological step in a. Mr. Amit Shah should understand, since he talks about chronology, samjhe. It's step two of step
Hmm.
one. Step
Hmm.
one is the political. What happens to the political party? Step two is then the two-thirds issue in parliament. Is then
But
the two-thirds.
as things stand, do you think that this rebel faction, I'm not even sure if we can call this a rebel faction, but would these 20 MPs and the 60 MLAs, would they go to the election commission and claim that we are the real TMC? Do you see such a situation panning out? Because so far they've just said that we are merging, and the 60 MLAs have said that we are okay with having Mamata Banerjee as our political advisor. So, it doesn't seem like there could be a situation perhaps where they could claim that we are the real TMC.
They
But what
can't
is your.
claim they're the real TMC. How can you say that we have merged with the nationalist,
Yeah.
whatever the Nationalist Citizen Party of India, the NCPI, which by the way doesn't even know that these big netas have merged with them.
First
The
thing they said that we have no information about.
founders are, we have no clue, we have no information. So they are a party, obscure party in Bengal. They fought elections in Tripura. So the fact is, how can you claim the symbol of Trinamool, or the symbol or the name of Trinamool, when you've already merged with a party which is a different party, which is the NCPI? What happens to the NCPI then? You can't be NCPI and Trinamool. So
Yeah.
obviously, those who have merged with the NCPI cannot now claim the symbol of the Trinamool. They cannot claim the name of Trinamool. This has been said by even very senior lawyers. There's a
Hmm.
very senior lawyer who's a BJP leaning lawyer. He's a BJP lawyer who also has said this, that you can't claim to be the Trinamool, you have merged with another party. Now the rebels in the legislature, in the Vidhan Sabha are saying something completely different. They're not even saying that there is different party. They're saying we're still under Mamata Banerjee.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so then that means that they haven't left the Trinamool. So,
Hmm.
these matters will be a matter of the courts to decide. The speaker will decide, but the speaker has now decided that he will meet everybody and decide and decide. But clearly, the legal opinion is absolutely clear that if you've merged with another party, you can't claim the symbol of your original party. I mean, that stands to reason, right?
If the merger is approved, Ms. Ghosh, which seems likely because, like I said earlier, nothing was done in the case of seven ARC MPs merging
Yeah,
with the.
they have merged. That is, you have merged with a particular party and said that we are now with this particular party,
Hmm.
right? The NCPI party. Now
Yeah.
you actually can't do that. You
Hmm.
can't do that. But
Yeah.
since, as you rightly say, that as I said, according to the 10th schedule, you can't do that. MPs can't merge. Parties merge.
Yeah.
Parties split and parties merge. MPs can't split. MPs can't
But
merge.
keeping the nuance aside, because like I said, that
That
in all
the
practicality, the merger will be approved.
ARP has been the process is the punishment. You see, this will go to court, it'll be challenged, the speaker will sit over it, and by the time we reach a solution, it'll be 2029
Yeah.
when there'll be general elections. So I
In
think
that
that
case, what is the Mamata Banerjee TMC's, or what is Didi's plan, given the fact that you're staring at a situation where 20 of your MPs will now be with the NDA, and we're soon going to have the Parliament session as well, so we'll see how that plays out. But what is Mamata Banerjee's plan? If the situation pans out the way the rebels have thought it will.
situation pans out the way I mean, we still have 17 members, we still have 17 MPs, we have 10 in the Rajya Sabha, and we may have, we have 9 or 10 in the Rajya Sabha, and we have 8 in the Lok Sabha. So we already have. So we are a bloc. We are the original Trinamool Congress. Mamata Banerjee is the Trinamool Congress. Trinamool Congress is Mamata Banerjee. This is a party built by her. It is founded by her. It is established by her. She has created this real party. This is not some shell party, some NCPI where these rebels are seeking refuge. This is a real political party founded by Mamata Banerjee. This is Mamata Banerjee's party. The Trinamool Congress is Mamata Banerjee's party. There's no two ways about that. So we are the Trinamool Congress. We will function as a Trinamool Congress. We are an integral member of the India Alliance.
Yeah.
We will work with the India Alliance. This new party, this merged party, this illegal unconstitutional merged party, it is an illegal bloc anyway according to the constitution, unconstitutional bloc. They have already sworn allegiance to the BJP and to Narendra Modi. They have said Narendra Modi and Amit Shah
Yeah.
are leaders. So they will be aligned with the government. We are very, Didi is very clear. If
Hmm.
anybody wants to go, please go. This is a necessary process of cleansing. Let the people who are the opportunists, who are the turncoats, who are the traitors, let them go, and let the
It
party
will
be
have
made.
very real ramifications, Ms. Ghosh, on the parliament as well. Given the kind of, I mean, whether it's a fee limitation bill or one nation, one election, I mean, they would be able
But
to.
Vedant, that's exactly why the BJP is breaking opposition parties. The BJP did not get a majority in the elections of 2024. Janadesh kya tha? What was the adesh of the people? What was the verdict of the people? The people spoke in 2024, right? And the people said the BJP does not have a majority. It is a minority government. At the moment, it is propped up by Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar. 16 from Chandrababu Naidu, 12 from Nitish Kumar, and now 20 from this NCPI.
It's the
It
second
was,
largest
which is the
kind
second
of
largest.
law.
I mean, a theater of the absurd, theater of the farcical. This party, which is not even in parliament, it doesn't have a single member of parliament. Suddenly, it's the largest constituent of the NDA. How
Yeah.
farcical can you get? Uh, and and they don't even know it. The founders of this party don't even know. that they are the single largest party in the NDA, or they have no information. I mean, it's theater of the absurd. 2026 will go down as a chapter of, honestly, of undemocratic farce in the history of Indian democracy. But the point is that they did not get a majority in 2024. Now they want to push through the delimitation bill. Now, why do you want to push through the delimitation? Nothing to do with women's reservation. We are fully in support of women's reservation. Please bring women's reservation now. Please bring it in the 543 member house. We are ready to support it right now. But why are you linking it to the delimitation bill, which is going to take the number of parliamentarians up to 850? Can you
Yeah.
imagine 850 members of parliament? It's already cost 43 lakhs for a single for the exchequer to support a single member of parliament for a single year. Now, for 800 members of parliament, that's 300 crores a year to support one member of parliament, to support 850 parliamentarians. Is the exchequer going to be able to take that kind of?
So you're essentially saying the NDA is kind of creating this artificial majority. Yeah.
That is the cost to the citizens is another point. I'm just saying that the BJP is desperately trying to create an artificial majority in the Lok Sabha. It is an unconstitutional and non-democratic way when the people have not given you a majority. The people
Okay.
did not give you a majority in 2024. The people voted for a strong opposition. They voted for a minority. They brought the BJP down to size. What were they saying? Up ki bar, 400 par, etc. They came down to 240. So
But
the
so
people
you,
did not
coming back to the current situation, were you kind of shocked to see some of these names? I mean, Shayani
shocked,
Ghosh
shocked,
and
shocked,
were you
shocked.
shocked?
I'm shocked. I'm thunderstruck. I'm sort of speechless. I mean, my head is spinning. I mean, Shayoni Ghosh was, one of the stars of the TMC.
Yeah.
And if you followed her on the campaign trail, we were also proud of her. She was such an amazing speaker, and I'm just shattered that she has
But what do
chosen.
you think led to her jumping ship?
I have no idea. I mean, we hear all kind of reports of inducements, of allurements of all kinds, of massive amounts of money changing hands. These are just rumors. They're just reports. So I'm not accusing anybody of anything. But of threats, of intimidation. That's the other thing, Vedant. You see, the BJP is playing the politics of Sam Dam Dand Bhed. I mean, you are playing the politics of coercion, of intimidation, of threat, of holding out inducements. I'm not saying that any kind of money changed hands for anybody. I just want to, if that came across, I don't want to say that at all. I'm not saying that's happened, but those are reports. Those are reports that all kinds of allurements have been handed out. It is extremely unfortunate that my colleague in the Rajya Sabha, Sushmita Dev, who I know personally, she was my colleague in the Rajya Sabha. She has chosen to jump ship, and she comes from a very old Congress family. As you know, her father was the Congress veteran, Mr. Santosh Mohan Dev. She has now chosen. So it is extremely unfortunate that this is happening. It is very distressing. It is. I'm really speechless at the fact that these are choosing to go. And I think that the BJP is playing as I said, of Samdam. That look at the way the BJP is treating the opposition in Bengal. You have seen some leaders from different areas who have been handcuffed. They have been bound at the waist through ropes. They've been dragged through the streets. Please let the law work. Let law enforcement work against those who have done wrong. There's no problem with that. But why do you want to create this culture of torment and attacking the opposition, which has never been seen before in Bengal? We have never
Many
seen
would say that this is a culture whose seeds were sown by the TMC. I mean, of course, we recently saw that video of the man being paraded, and this man being raided, and he was hiding under a pile of saris, and this whole thing about cut money. So, do you think that the TMC and the TMC, the state power, in a
There was
sense,
never
also
this
allowed
kind
a
of
lot of these elements to prosper?
there was never this kind of violence against the opposition in Bengal, Vedant. It has never happened. When the left was defeated, Mamata Banerjee ordered Rabindra Sangeet to be played on the loudspeaker. There's a photograph of Mamata Banerjee welcoming Buddhadev Bhattacharya to a seat at her, at her swearing in. There's of treating him with respect. The left leaders were not paraded on the street in shorts and dragged by the through ropes and handcuffed. I mean, why are you assaulting somebody's self-respect? I mean, the fact is, the law must proceed according to the law. Yes, if they have done wrong, please act against them. Nobody's saying that. But democracies are based on rule of law. Democracies are based on constitutional values, not on this kind of violence and torture and torment, throwing eggs,
Yeah,
throwing stones. There was a stone thrown at Abhishek Banerjee, which if
yeah,
he hadn't, it was a rock which was hurled. I mean, if he hadn't been wearing a helmet, it could have resulted in a mortal injury. So, is
yeah.
this the way the BJP wants to do politics in Bengal?
Yeah. As we end, Ms. Ghosh, also a lot, some political analysts point out that because the TMC was not built on an ideology, it was always built around the charisma of one leader, and then of course state power. Mamata Banerjee has been in power, was in power for 3 terms, and when all of that collapsed, this was bound to happen because there was no ideology or nothing larger kind of keeping the flock together. Would you agree with that
No,
critique of the
not at
TMC?
all. Not at
And
all. I think
especially
it's a very
when
strong.
dynasty comes into the picture, because what we saw with Uddhav Thackeray and his Shiv Sena, and then the Pawars and the NCP. So, would you also say that as soon as dynasty comes into the picture, there's this feeling that whether it's Shubhendu, or then of course people like Shayani Ghosh and Sushmita Dev who have ambitions, and then they feel that there's no place for us because this one family that will be promoted.
I don't think that's true in the Trinamool at all. First of all, I think there is an ideology, the ideology of Mahamati Manush, which is a kind of rooted liberalism, a rooted constitutionalism, and a rooted welfareism. It's a grassroots ideology, an ideology of the grassroots.
Right.
Mamata Banerjee has always upheld pluralism. She has a wonderfully pithy line, which I always quote about secularism, dharmo jar jar utsav shobar. Everybody has their own personal religion, but we celebrate festivals together. You know how well we celebrate Christmas in Park Street. We have Eid. We have Durga Puja. Durga Puja in Bengal has won the UNESCO award for intangible heritage of humanity. We have just built a Jagannath temple in Digha. So I mean, we stand for a rooted pluralism and a rooted liberalism, I would say. The representation of women. I think that is a fundamental part of our ideology. Before the split, the Trinamool Congress was 38% women in the Lok Sabha, 45% women in the Rajya Sabha, far in excess of the 33% in the women's reservation bill. We don't need legislation to represent women, and not only women in terms of representation, but fielding very visible, articulate, and socially sort of socially grassroots women to positions of power. That has been Mamata Banerjee's agenda. It's almost a woman's revolution that she has brought into the Trinamool Congress. There are people like so many women leaders in the Lok Sabha, so many leaders in the Rajya Sabha. When you think about the Trinamool Congress, you think about very strong women with
Women.
agency. So women, openness to the LGBTQ, openness to all minorities, all strata of society. So I would say a rooted welfareism and liberalism. We've had a very open, liberal-minded finance minister for many years. Mr. Amit Mitra was Secretary General of the FICCI. He was succeeded by Chandrima Bhattacharya. She's also, there's a lot that is not known about Bengal. Lot that is not known about Bengal. This
You
year
won't
the
say that there is no space for ambitious women, ambitious people in
there
general,
is no
because
space for
there's one
ambitious
place
people.
where the power is concentrated.
There is no. Where is this one family? It's Mamata Banerjee with a galaxy of leaders. All the leaders I'm mentioning in the Lok Sabha, all the leaders I'm mentioning in the Rajya Sabha, none of them are family. We had, Miss Kakoli Ghosh Dastidar was the chief whip. The Miss Shatabdi Ray was the deputy leader. I am the deputy leader in the Rajya Sabha. We have Ms. Mahua Moitra in a leadership position in Bengal. We have very senior ministers in the Bengal cabinet, Shashi Paja, Chandrima Bhattacharya, these were all senior ministers in the cabinet. The mayor of Kolkata, none of this was given to, these are not all family members.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Abhishek Banerjee joined politics uh, through his connection with Mamata Banerjee initially, but then has proved himself as a organization person and as a seriously and as a very serious politician. And I think he has, honestly, if the Trinamool had won this election, who was the star campaigner of the Trinamool during the election, during the 2026 election? It was Shayoni Ghosh. She was not part of the family. It was many others. Mahua Moitra, she's not part of the family. These are all stars of the Trinamool Congress. So the fact to say that it's a family, there's any kind of family based thing happening in the Trinamool Congress, I don't think so at all. I don't think so at all. The fact is that if the party had won, all of this would be out of the window.
Yeah.
All of this would be out of the window. Nobody would be saying anything. But as I say, success has many fathers, failure is an orphan. So if you lose, everything is wrong with you. You've got no ideology. You have family. You're autocratic. You're temperamental. If you had won, you would be the flavor of the season, and you're a successful political formation, and you have wonderful organization, and you have a charismatic leader. So I don't think this works. I think Mamata Banerjee is a fighter. She's a remarkable politician. I say this as a journalist as well, someone who's observed, who's been a political journalist for 35 years. I have observed politicians. I've written two biographies of two prime
Yes.
ministers. I'm writing my third biography of a third prime minister. I can't tell you who that is, but so I've observed politicians, and the most successful politicians are the politicians who have a story to tell, who have a life story. And Mamata Banerjee has a remarkable life story.
Yes.
She's come
And,
from no
and
family, and
taking
she's
cue
come
from
from.
that, taking cue from that, Ms. Ghosh, you spoke about Mamata Banerjee being a congresswoman, and there's all this talk, and this is my last question to you. There's all this talk about this Akhand Congress, and Sharad Pawar and Mamata Banerjee returning to the Congress fold. What do you think of that idea, and is that something? I mean, you are one of the
I wrote an
few
article.
national faces still standing by Mamata Banerjee. So, are you
Always, always.
idea of
There's, I don't know.
Banerjee returning to the Congress or Mamata Banerjee returning to the Congress?
I wrote an article once where I said the force that can take on the Sangh Parivar is a united Congress Parivar. Because if you think about it, all these leaders, whether it's Mamata Banerjee, whether it's Sharad Pawar, whether it is Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy, son of Mr. YSR Reddy, I mean YS Rajshekar Reddy, these are all stalwarts of the Congress. They're all stalwarts of the Congress, and I think that's happening in a very rejuvenated India Alliance. As you know, we had a very successful meeting on Monday. We are
Would you call
committed.
it successful though? I mean, Arvind Kejriwal wasn't present at the meeting, and that was
No, I mean, we may have state level differences, but we're all together as a united front against the BJP. Yes, there are state level issues. We fought the Congress as in
yes,
Bengal. The left and the Congress fight each other in
all the
Kerala,
time.
but we are all together. We are all together at the national level. And we are going to work in close coordination. The India Alliance has never been more united and has never looked stronger. And
The possibility of Mamata Banerjee coming back to the Congress is you're not
that
ruling that out.
that is baseless. That is baseless. There is no such issue. There's no such possibility at all. That is
Okay,
absolutely baseless. But the India Alliance is going to work very closely and very strongly together, and I think that was clear at the meeting.
all right, Ms. Sagarika Ghosh, thanks very much for speaking to us. Always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.